is Gérard Picot, and I'm a member of the Board of Trustees for the Friends of Beaubears Island. Welcome. The story of my ancestors, especially that of Alexis Landry, is one that merits being told in this format, especially because it holds to bear an adventure that was held here at Beaubears Island back in 1756, the year of the Grand Dérangement. Alexis' story reads like a Hollywood movie script. There are high seas adventures. We have fortunes made, fortunes gained, fortunes lost, and regained again. Spies, death, tragedy, and then victory once again. That's why I felt this story needed to be told. Alexis Landry figures to be my fifth-generation maternal grandfather, born in Grand Pré, now Nova Scotia, back in 1721. He was the child of Jean Landry, born in 1693, and Claire Leblanc, born in 1692, who were the children of the first generation of Acadians born in Port-Royal. The fact that Alexis is among the very few who are true Acadians, as it were, who survived and had escaped the Grand Dérangement. As noted, he was born in Grand Pré and died in 1798 in Caracat, and he's buried at Saint-Anne-du-Bocage. He has a direct link to Beaubears Island on the Miramichi, and the fact that he and his family spent a horrible winter here in 1757 at the Camp d'Espérance was a story that asked to be told. Alexis, his wife, married Thériault, and their 9 children arrived in Miramichi during the summer of 1756, forced exile and refugees from their home, farm, and thriving business in Aulac, not far from Forteresse Beauséjour on the Isthmus of Chignecto, in what is today Nova Scotia. It is very important to say that Alexis and his family lived not too far from the church found near that fort, and indeed its presbytery, of none other than Father Ladoutre. The story of this individual merits a narrative in and of itself, but maybe at another time. Not long after this painting was finished, most, if not all, the dwellings, including the church seen at the crest of the hill, the home and farm of Alexis, were burnt by English forces. The remains, along with the church bell, can be seen as a National Historic Site found there today. Alexis refused to sign the Oath of Allegiance, which was asked of Acadians beginning in 1730. In 1755, he and his family, which consisted of his wife, Marie, and 9 children, end up fleeing the advancing troops after the failed attempt to defend Forteresse Beauséjour, and followed Charles Deschamps de Boisbert et Rafteau to Malcontent's Brook. From the French, malcontent means not happy with the current situation, found near Coquin. After the arrival of spring in 1756, he, along with a huge delegations, 1,000 plus of Acadians, continue their forced migration north to Miramichi and notably Beaubears Island. And here they stay, prepared to live at the nearby Camp d'Espérance. They fully expected to eke out an existence here. Therefore, the choice of the name Espérance in French literally means hope. Also a longing, aspirations of better times, and of a life expectancy. Here, Boisbert, who had previously scoped out the area, had found French settlers pre-existing. Imagine that. He prepared a stronghold to defend against the English advance. Fortifications were prepared at strategic points where overlooks provided lines of sight down the river, which would help detect without notice the arrival of the combatants. The site would prove to be well suited, as when the English forces who did arrive on the river found it very, very difficult to navigate because the depth proved too shallow and the quarters too tight to permit the warring ships to advance, which meant troops had to embark on smaller launches or chaloupes, which made the soldiers very vulnerable. This eliminated the use of the ship's cannons. It has recently been found that Murray's forces did indeed come up the river, burnt the settlement and what is now called the burnt church, and then were forced to abandon their efforts as they had instructions to burn the vermin from their camps at the Camp d'Espérance site. This, fortunately, never occurred, but the psychological war had been won, as the camp was soon abandoned, and by 1760 hardly anyone remained except the founding families of Miramichi. Soon after this, all records of property, possessions, animals were ordered destroyed, and by 1765 we now see Beaubear's Island and Wilson's Point become the possession of one William Davidson, in what was the first incursions of Scottish settlers to arrive here. My ancestors departed to settle in the Caracat area. In fact, Alexis' story is a very compelling one, as stated earlier. He's buried at the site of a religious sanctuary of Saint Anne's Bocage, which is situated on a land grant from Alexis Landry to the Catholic Church. The tragedy of Alexis Landry and his wife Marie is a very telling of the strife faced by their group here in the now ironically named Camp d'Espérance, as it left behind something of great importance at Wilson's Point, namely 5 of their children who perished there during the winter of 1757. This story I will attempt to render justice to in further installments of this series of videos. Thank you.